Thank you for tuning in to this episode of College Tennis Talk. Today's guest is Chase Hodges. So now let's spin and begin. Welcome to College Tennis Talk. Today we are joined by Chase Hodges, who has found tremendous success at both the Division I and NAIA levels at UNC Asheville, Drake, Georgia State. However, he's been breaking every single record in college tennis at Georgia Gwinnett and joined that program in 2013. For a quick idea of the dominance he has had leading the Grizz, note that his men's team is currently riding a 123-match winning streak. Other numbers to further understand his dominance at Gwinnett: he's an 11-time NAIA National Champion, 7-time ITA NAIA National Coach of the Year, 11-time NAIA National Coach of the Year. He's got a 277-22 record at Georgia Gwinnett. He's 151-3 with the men and 116-19 with the women. Other impressive numbers collected by the program since Chase has been there during the 8 seasons is 6 consecutive NAIA national championships, winning 90 straight home matches, and hasn't lost a match in 1,843 days. First off, Chase, congrats of all the success you've had and putting your name in the record books. Knowing the streak is out there and every team you play wants to be the team to end it, realistically, how long do you think you can keep it going?
That's a great question, Davidson. And first of all, thank you for having me on. I think this is phenomenal what you're doing for college tennis, first and foremost. But to answer your question, I hate to give you the cliche coach talk, we just take it one match at a time and, this and that. But I do think that COVID is helping us extend it to 2,000 days.
Yeah.
It's going to help us. So, ultimately there's a lot of really good teams out there that have really pushed us and taken us to the limit. So, it's just a matter of time, I think. But we just want to keep this thing going as long as humanly possible. I do know, and, just to be 100% honest, we would like to, and we talk about this, we would like to break the all-time college winning streak, which right now we have the third active, or we have the longest active, but the third of all time. And when you've come to 123, you might as well try to break the all-time mark. And I think we're maybe one season away, hopefully, of doing that.
Chase, what is the all-time mark?
Well, right now we're third all-time at 123, and then the second one to get to is Hawaii. Believe it or not, the 1 and 2 are tennis programs. Hawaii Pacific Women's Tennis Program owns the second longest streak, which I believe was around 142, something around that level. And then the longest win streak of all time was Miami Men's Tennis back in the 50s and 60s. And I don't want to quote on the exact number, but I think we're around 30 to 40 away from that. So we're just taking it one at a time. Right now, BYU, Hawaii women's tennis will be the next to get to second.
Okay. So if you look to break that next year, you might need to add in some triple and quadruple headers there.
We did a triple header this year, believe it or not. And we did quite a few double headers. So, I'm going to adopt the Chuck Creasy model, just play about, 10 triple headers, and, we might be able to get there. But we'll see what happens. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, we are discussing that winning streak. And how much does that streak mean to you and the program? And have you set your sights, I know, on taking over, the second place and then third place? But, are you looking at your that ultimate number of a 200? Is there any goal beyond that?
Well, that's a great question, Davidson. And to be totally honest with you, when we were prior to 100, it wasn't even talked about at all. Believe it or not, it really wasn't. Once we got to around probably 90, getting to 100 became a goal. So really, it didn't get talked about until we hit that 100. Now that we're there, I'm pretty much trying to own the streak with my team, because I'm using it as a motivational factor in terms of why we need to keep working as hard as we humanly can, and why we need to be prepared as possible, because this thing goes back to 2015. So 5 years it goes back, and we may as well try to keep this thing going as long as we can. And it's something we talk about on a weekly basis now for sure, because we put a lot of time and effort into this thing, and we'd love to see us continue it as long as we can. So now I would say from a coaching standpoint, and this, you've done a phenomenal job everywhere you've been. If I didn't talk about it, then it's something that it'd be kind of like an elephant in the room. So it's almost at the point now where, as a coach, it's just a phenomenal motivational tool, because every day at practice, we're highly motivated. For every dual match, we're highly motivated because we have something on the line every match, and that's to keep the streak alive. And every team that we play, I tell my team this all the time, when you play us, it's almost like the other team, it's their Super Bowl match, because they can really make their, season in one match if they were to beat us and in the streak. So you have to be prepared.
Well, absolutely. I mean, every team you play, they can get themselves in the record books just by being the one that ends your streak. So they are going to be up for that match as best they can, and you're going to be getting their best shots. And
Absolutely.
I'm wondering how much your current team is embracing this, but how much do you see your former players that were part of that first match that got this streak going? Are you hearing from those guys before each match? I mean, how many times are those guys like chiming in, motivating the team, and kind of really encouraging everybody to keep it going and keep this dynasty intact?
Yeah, they played a huge part. All the former Grizzlies that I've had and the alumni, they basically are in constant contact with me, applying as much pressure as they can for, to make sure that I'm keeping these guys in check. But they're also been great motivators to our current student athletes. And, we've been fortunate because a lot of our Grizzly tennis players that did graduate and have graduated, a lot of them have stayed in the Atlanta area. So we've had an opportunity to have them at practice and speak to the team. And a lot of our international guys that have moved back to their countries, they still are heavily involved. And it's a complete family atmosphere, which is what you want to build, and that culture is there. And it's just a lot of pride for our guys when they put on that Grizzly uniform, because they're not only playing for themselves and their teammates, but they're also playing for all the other guys that really got this streak started back in 2015. So and trust me, those guys wanted to keep going as much as the current guys. So it's been a situation for us that no matter who we bring in or what recruits we have or new players that we have or new teams, they've just kind of accepted that mentality. And, it's been fun to coach and fun to see them progress and get better and better every day.
Chase, I want to change gears a little bit.
Sure.
Our seasons were cut short, and you made light of it, that that's helping your streak continue in consecutive days.
Yeah.
The NCAA granted, the student athletes to, they were not charged a year this year, so that they all can come back and compete. What is the decision on the NAIA and your returning seniors?
Well, great question. The NAIA is doing the exact same thing, Davidson. Every NAIA player in the country basically gets to treat this year as it doesn't count against their eligibility. So
redshirt development year.
There you go. You go. It's a redshirt development year, and it's a great opportunity for them to continue to develop. For us, it's been a bit of a challenge, to be totally honest with you, because we don't have at this point, we're such a young school. We don't have a graduate school program at this moment. It's something that we will definitely be getting down the road. But a lot of I would imagine a lot of seniors that were set to graduate at a lot of schools that wanted to continue to play could just go into a graduate program at their respective schools. It's something that for us, I had 7 seniors, 4 men and 3 women. Some have chosen to just go ahead and graduate, and they have jobs already lined up in their respective countries, and they've decided to pursue that interest and start, gaining some income financially, while others are actually going to be utilizing that extra year. And we've moved things around, and they'll be a double major now and have an opportunity to have two majors when they finish. So every individual really had a different story in a different situation. But all in all, at the end of the day, for the most part, everyone's doing what's in their best interest. And as a head coach, and as you know, it's really all we can do is just support what's in the best interest of the student athlete, and that's what we've been doing at Georgia Gwinnett.
Yeah, and the NCAA kind of made that blanket rule for all universities, but it's institutions can decide and choose how they're going to handle it. Whether they're going to allow the seniors to come back and take advantage of that season, or whether they're going to have them there and offering them scholarships. So
Right.
It was a great move by the NCAA, but still the schools and the coaches and the teams and the student athletes are all having to make individual decisions on what they're going to be doing on that next season.
Right.
Chase, you coach both at the Division I and NAIA levels, had great success. What are the main differences you see in the two? And possibly, what did you take from the Division I level to find that immediate success and tremendous success at the NAIA level?
Well, I think the first part of your question, I would say that the biggest difference is just depth. I would say at the Division I level, there's just way more depth, and that's just a fact. I mean, you have you can go 60, 80 teams deep in Division I and have really high level programs that are in that range. Where at the NAIA level, there's some really high level programs that can compete with really anyone in college tennis. It's just that you're not going that deep. You're going more maybe top 20 depth. So I would say that would be the first answer, and then the second would be just coaching.
Chase, I'm gonna cut you short real fast, but I do want you to get to the second part of that question, so don't forget it. You touched on the depth. And the depth in Division I tennis, as when you were a player to coaching and your time coaching there, and the same with mine. I mean, the depth just gets deeper and deeper. During your time in NAIA, are you noticing an increase in depth, the level increasing? Have you seen that much change since you've been there? I know it's been somewhat of a short time.
Absolutely. Every year there's more and more teams in the NAIA that are just getting better and better. And, it's something that each year that there's a pretty big addition of teams that are really in the mix. At the NAIA level, the top 24 teams advance to the national tournament. So it's a situation where you're going to have a lot of teams just jockeying to get into the tournament. And it's also pretty much set up now where those teams that are in that, I'd say 15 to 45 range, there's just so much parity there, and they're all competing really for 9 spots to get into that national tournament. So as time goes by and as you see college tennis develop and more programs and eligibility restrictions with NCAA and so forth, you're going to see NAIA and JUCO and NCAA Division II and so forth getting stronger and stronger. And this is something that, I've really seen, especially over the last 2 to 3 years, that the level is really getting more on par with the rest of college tennis as a whole.
No, that's great to hear. I mean, we all want college tennis to grow. I mean,
absolutely.
We're in it for a reason, and I think that reason is we have a passion and we love this game.
Absolutely.
Still discussing NAIA and the benefits of it. So what are the benefits of a player choosing to go the NAIA route as opposed to, going Division I?
That's a good question. From a Georgia Gwinnett standpoint and a general NAIA standpoint, at Georgia Gwinnett, obviously I'm pushing winning national titles and having an opportunity to compete against the best of the best in college tennis, which is something that we do every fall season. We have the opportunity to really travel and compete against the best Division I programs out there. For the NAIA as a whole, I think that the number one thing that the NAIA really brings to the table is just the entire student athlete experience. I think that they do a phenomenal job of really promoting the student athlete as a whole. It's something that the NAI, the core values is something that, getting involved with the community, getting involved on your campus, having a big voice, not only on your campus and in your community, but if you can stretch that out, whether it be to your respective countries or across the state that you're in, or the United States for that matter, the NAI really does a good part in making sure that every student athlete understands that this is all about the experience. And the experience at the NAI level that I've experienced since 2012 has been second to none. They really do a great job of taking care of the needs and general welfare of every student athlete. And it's really the number one thing that the NAI stresses in the core values. And that's something for me, it's just been a breath of fresh air. I feel like every student athlete that's ever played at the NAI level can honestly tell you that this organization has the best interest of their student athletes at number one. And that's something that is very special.
Well, that's great to hear. And knowing some of your team members, knowing you and hearing how much you're enjoying it there, I'm impressed. I can tell you what else I'm impressed with as an outsider of your program is the amount of success. I mean, the amount of support that you guys receive from your community and your athletics department. Was that something you were surprised about leaving Georgia State, or were you expecting and anticipating that?
Well, that's something that has taken time, Davidson, and I will say that a lot of it really depends on your location. We're lucky being located in Lawrenceville, Georgia, a suburb north of Atlanta. We have an opportunity to really tap into our tennis community right here in Lawrenceville, and for me, it's been such a rewarding experience because how many times do you see a college tennis program when you're driving down the interstate, you see a huge billboard talking about the streak that we have here in Gwinnett County at Georgia Gwinnett?
No, I've seen your post, and every time
Yeah.
I'm amazed and envious, and envious of the success you guys are having.
Right.
We all would like to win multiple national championships. You're doing it, but then also just the recognition and the support and the feeling you get by having the people around you show that they care. I mean, that's incredible as a head coach, and also incredible for your team and program to feel. So yeah, that's incredible what you guys are doing there.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly something that in my career I feel like having the opportunity to really have the community not only widely interested in your success, but just to see the amount of support that we have at our matches. One thing, Davidson, the mayor of Lawrenceville, literally is at every home tennis match. She's a big tennis supporter, Judy Johnson, and literally is at every. She does play.
Nice.
She just loves being a part of it, and is literally at every home match. She'll text me, "Hey, what time? If it's raining, did you get delayed? When are you playing?" I mean, to have the head of the city that interested in your program is special. But not only that, just being in such a tennis town, and everyone knows that Atlanta is a major tennis community. But being a big part in Gwinnett County, that's one thing a lot of people don't realize is Gwinnett County has 1.2 million residents just in this county. So we have an opportunity to really reach a lot of communities close to Georgia Gwinnett College, and having that opportunity is huge, and then being able to make the most of that opportunity. And a lot of recognition needs to go to the athletic department. My athletic director, Dr. Darren Wilson, who hired me back in 2012, he's been a huge supporter of our program, and as well as anyone that your administration plays such a huge role as a head tennis coach, and having their support and really means the world. And just really everything that has been put into place these last 8 years has just been a result of just a ton of people that have put in a lot of hard work. And when players are coming out to matches, when we won our 100th in a row, we had close to 500 people at that match, and it was a phenomenal experience. We get a lot of great coverage from the Gwinnett Daily Post, which is the local newspaper, and they're at all our matches, and just great advocates of our program. And our sports information people do a phenomenal job. So it's a total team effort, and as a college tennis coach, you really are only as good as your community. And you really need to make sure, I think, every coach out there, that regardless of what level they're at, D1, D2, JUCO, whatever city you're in, you have to make a major impact on your tennis community in the city that you're in order to give a lasting impact, so that college tennis can really benefit. Because one of the things that I've learned is if you can get people out to your matches, they're going to come back. The hardest part is just getting them there. Once they're there, you can really turn them into a college tennis fan, and you can really turn them into a person that really wants to attend almost every match, because there's nothing like college tennis. And as a coach, there's nothing like being in the heat of a battle and having an opportunity to clinch a match, or a doubles point comes down to one match. And, you know, having that crowd support can be the difference between winning and losing. And I think that's been a big part of our win streak. I think it's 90 in a row at home, is because it's tough to beat us at home because we have such tremendous support from our fans.
Yeah, well, Chase, again, we're all impressed with the success you guys are having. I mean, what you're doing is drawing attention to college tennis. I'm rooting for you to keep it going. The longer that streak goes, the more success you have, the more the name's going to get out there, the more recognition, college tennis in general, which every division can benefit from. So it's an awesome thing. I'll continue rooting for you, and you know, congrats so far on everything, but keep it going. And at this point, I'd like to switch this interview to a fun spot. A fun section we do called quick volleys. So we're gonna test your reflexes and see how you handle the quick volleys.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. What do you prefer to play? Singles or doubles?
Singles.
Prefer to watch? Singles or doubles?
Doubles.
If you're returning in doubles, deuce or ad court?
Oh, deuce all day.
Deuce
all day.
court. Favorite pro team?
Atlanta Falcons.
I thought you'd say that. I see your post too with all the Falcons gear. Would you give up any of your national championships to see them raise the Vince Lombardi Trophy?
Oh man, that's tough. We're at 11 right now, and if I got over 20, yes.
If you get to 20, you'll let them have one.
If it will 21, I want to get to 20, and then they could get 21.
They can have the okay.
Yeah.
No ad scoring, like or dislike?
I actually like it. I actually like it. Yes.
Best venue for college tennis match?
That's easy. Athens, Georgia. That's easy. UGA.
Best college tennis player, past or present? Any division?
I mean, it's going to be a Grizzly legend, a guy by the name of Kevin Confederak. Kevin Confederak won more national titles than any player in the history of collegiate tennis. He won 3 straight Super Bowls. Guy was incredible. He had that run in California where he beat three guys in the top 20 in D1. Phenomenal Grizzly. Kevin Confederak all day. I am a little biased, though.
That's fine. That's fine. I know he was a great player, and he definitely represented your school the right way. Longest tennis match you've ever played or coached in?
That would be coaching. That would be the NAI Women's Tennis National Championship match in Mobile, Alabama. I believe it was 2017. We had about a 6.5-hour thriller, but what made it even longer was it was spanned. I think the total match, it took about 32 hours to complete because of the rain delays and things of that nature. And it was it was extremely intense, and that was a good one to win, though. That one felt real good. There's my cat, by the way.
I see him.
Yeah.
Favorite college mascot besides the Grizzly?
Oh, that's easy. I mean, I know you're a Seminole. My first 2 years, I went to NC State, Wolfpack. So the Wolfpack, still a Wolfpack fan.
All right. Favorite hobby?
This is a new hobby. I'm going to go with a new hobby that I've just developed during COVID-19, which would be cooking. I'm by no means phenomenal. I'd say I'm obviously a beginner, but my wife has kind of forced me into the kitchen. I'm not bad. And I actually enjoy it. I really enjoy it. So I'm starting to look up some recipes online, and I've always been pretty good on the grill. But yeah, cooking
Moving
is.
indoors now.
I'm getting better. Yeah.
Best sporting event
Absolutely.
outside of college tennis.
The best sporting event I've ever been to.
Best sporting event you've ever attended. Yes.
Man, this one's painful to say. What the Super Bowl. I attended the Super Bowl in Houston, the Falcons Patriots.
Against the Patriots, the
Yeah,
collapse. Yeah.
It was the best 3 quarters of football I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then 28-3, things kind of went sideways there. Obviously, it was it was disappointing to say the least. But I still have a phenomenal. It was a great experience just going to the Super Bowl, having your team play in the Super Bowl. But the ending was. I'm still. We still haven't recovered. Let's be honest. So, Falcons fans still haven't recovered.
Gotcha. Dream place to retire.
It would be Bermuda. I don't know if you've been to Bermuda.
No.
Have you been? It's phenomenal. It's right off the. It's in the Atlantic Ocean, right off the coast of North Carolina. Beautiful island. One of my best friends is from Bermuda. I've had the opportunity to visit quite a few times. Unbelievable place. Unbelievable.
All right. Favorite tennis movie?
Good question. That would be the Andy Murray movie, The Resurfacing, on Amazon. And a little background of that, I actually had, at 43 or however old I am, 43, I had the hip labrum tear last year and had the same surgery back in November. So I had a extra interest in that, but he did a phenomenal job in that documentary. I thought it was phenomenal.
Gotcha. And this will be your last one. Best vacation destination you have taken with your daughter Gabby?
That would be my wife and I took Gabby 2 years ago to Europe. We went to Barcelona, Germany, Italy. That was an incredible experience there in Europe. So that would easily be number one.
All right. Sounds good. Chase, thanks a lot for your time today. Thanks for joining us on College Tennis Talk. Keep it up. Go Grizz.
Thank you, and go Bulldogs.
All right, man. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.